Alright, it's your guy Insomniac, and today we're looking at something pretty interesting. It is a mini portable espresso machine by, I guess this is the brand name, Litchi? Maybe that's how you say it? Not 100% sure, but there it is on screen. Here's the packaging. Interesting little package. Before I actually get into this, I'd like to thank Ben Bott for sending this in. Very much appreciated. It's always cool when somebody sends in some coffee accessories to be tested and tried here on the channel. So I've already taken the unit out. Here's a close-up of it on screen for you. This is a really cool unit because it's very compact, it's pretty small, and it really has everything but one thing built in, and that is the one thing that it's missing, which we'll get into. The one thing that keeps this from being awesome, assuming that it'll make a good espresso shot, which we will test here on camera. So here is the body of it. This here is the tank, where you have the red, and in there you have a scoop for the espresso. It comes with its own scoop, so you can scoop the coffee in. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, where do you scoop the coffee in? That happens in a different part of the body completely. This is actually your espresso cup. That's a very cool thing. And then in here you have your filter basket. This is where the espresso goes. And it winds up going back on here. And then you put it all back together. We'll show you how that works. I'll demo it all on camera for you. So as you saw there, has basically everything that you need. The only thing is you're probably thinking, if you're imagining this to be like a literal portable espresso machine, how do you heat up the water? Well, the thing is you don't. And obviously you can't make espresso without hot water. That's really not how that process works. So that is the one big minus to this thing. Not that we're advertising that in the first place, but if this had a way to heat up water, even if there was one extra piece to this, maybe being a plug with some type of piezoelectric something or other to zap that water to the right temperature, or even just boiling, then it would be awesome. Again, assuming that it'll make a good espresso shot, because otherwise it's portable to a degree. I mean, I suppose if you're at work or somewhere that has a kettle style thing, or at least, or a stove, or I don't know, a microwave that'll get the water hot enough, then you have access to hot water and you could still use it, and that's cool. But if you could literally just have this in your backpack or something and just plug it in, heat up the water, and then make your espresso shot, that would be insanely badass. But anyway, you can't, so you have that out of the way. You do have to have hot water to add to the machine, so let's get into the rest. Okay, so operation is fairly simple. I've already used this a couple of times, so I actually know how it works, but I actually want to use the instruction manual for this because it's awesome. And by awesome, I mean it is a complete mess, and whoever they used to translate from whatever the original language was, they should really fire them. Unless they did it for free, then I guess it was a decent enough favor. But some of this stuff is funny. I'm not going to read through all of it, but yeah, let's show you a couple things here. First of all being the fact that when I first took this apart and I was going to put it back together, I was trying to use this illustration here, which shows you the parts. And you would think that that is a legitimate exploded view of how that goes back together, but it's not, because if you look at the part that says main body, it's actually showing that upside down, which isn't a huge deal, other than if you're new to this and you haven't put it back together yourself, and then you were trying to figure out why the pieces don't fit, and it's because part of the illustration is upside down. But anyway, step 1 says unclips the cup, so let's do that. Steps 2 and 3 were translated pretty well. It says unscrew the outlet head and remove the filter basket. I already showed you the close-up of those, but here you go. Outlet head, filter basket. 4 through 6 were also translated pretty well, so we'll just go through the steps. Unscrew the water tank, which that is the part with the red, and remove the scoop, which that kind of happens by default. There's your tank and your scoop. Step 6 is fill the scoop with ground coffee. So for this part, it is worth noting that you don't actually use super powder fine espresso grind for this, which is good because I don't have the proper grinder for that here anyway. I actually find that the grind that I use with my Burr grinder for standard drip coffee, or even most AeroPress, works fine for getting a good espresso shot out of this little portable machine. So whatever grind size you use for standard Aero and or drip should work with this well. It has for me anyway. So anyway, let me grind up a little bit of this. This is Snappy Bigman Espresso Roast. You actually saw me review this on the channel not too long ago. Okay, so fill the scoop with ground coffee. Simple enough. Like I said, I ground up some of this Snappy Bigman espresso roast. I just got half of it on the table. Step 7 says position the filter basket on tap of the scoop. I'm assuming that was supposed to mean on top. And this is all just a longer version of it. Wants you to put this on top and then flip it upside down. This way you get the coffee in there generally neatly. Because step 8 is reverse to transfer all of the powder into the filter basket. I guess they mean flip, not reverse. But like I said, this is an interesting instruction manual. And then you are supposed to kind of dust off the ends to make sure you don't have any excess coffee all over the filter basket. Step 10 is screw tightly the outlet head onto the main body. So what you do here is you take this here, you put it back into where it seals, right, and then we will screw that back together. Make sure it's nice and tight. Step 11 is add boiling water into the water tank. Stop pouring before reaching the max line. I'll show you here where the max line is. You should be able to see it in the cup. There's a max line in the cup. I have already heated the water, so let us fill it up right below the max line. There you go. Step 12 is screw tightly the main body onto the water tank. So just take your main body here, put it on top, and screw the water tank in there. Just make sure it's pretty firm, because obviously this is full of boiling water. You really don't want that getting all over you. In fact, there's a hazard right after this that says, avoid burning yourself, handle with care. Thank you very much. Step 13 is unlock the piston from its travel position by twisting to the left. I'll show you here. Here is the piston. You can see that it's in the body there. You just twist it to the left, and there you go. Step 14 says bring the mini portable espresso machine above the cup and start pumping, and 15 says the first 6 strokes will fill the basket with water. Continue pumping until no more coffee comes out. One cool thing about this, as you're going to see here on the close-up camera, you could literally just do this with one hand. So here's the cup, and here is the portable espresso maker, and you squeeze the piston. So like I said, the first 6 times should just be getting water into the filter basket. And then you can hear something starting to happen there. There it is. And it says to squeeze it until no more water comes out. Fairly easy to do, even with one hand, as I'm showing you here, which is very cool. So we're still going, and that's about it. We will stop it there. As you can see here, you actually have a really nice frothy looking espresso, which I have to tell you, after the first time that I tried this, I was really shocked before I tasted it to actually see that. Very cool. And there you have it, a cup of espresso. This would be the equivalent of a double shot. It actually tells you in the book how many pumps to use for a single shot or a double shot. It also gives you the simple instructions for an Americano. But yeah, that's literally all you have to do to make yourself some espresso. Like I said, the only thing that it's missing is some type of heating function. That would be great if it could make the water itself, because then you could literally just put some coffee in the filter basket and bring this with you until you feel like having espresso. Turn it on, heat it up, and pump. But either way, let's give this a taste. Wow, that's really not bad. Now, I've had this espresso before, so I generally know what to expect. In terms of the flavor profile, it's actually dead on. Now, in terms of having a good, rich, full-bodied espresso, this is not going to give you the same type of body or richness as making it in a proper espresso machine, but I'll tell you what, really not bad. I'm actually impressed with how wonderfully smooth that is. That is really nice. I'm not comparing this little portable thing to a proper espresso making machine. You're not going to get the same quality espresso out of it. What I'm telling you though is for something that's not very expensive and kind of cool, even if it is basically novelty, is that the shot of espresso you're going to get doesn't suck. As for the cleanup process, I'm certainly not going to go dragging the cameras into the kitchen to show you that. But what I can tell you is that it's actually very simple. You basically just open this up carefully, you knock the coffee out of the filter basket, you rinse things out and let it dry and then repeat. Very easy to use. In terms of durability and build quality, this thing actually feels really solid. I've been very happy with it so far. I can't speak to any type of long-term use or durability. This is literally only the third time I've used it, but definitely feels fairly well made, and it is a very cool idea. If it would heat some damn water itself, I would actually say this thing is pretty much mind-blowing, but it does not, so that's the only thing that kind of spoils it, because if it were a true portable espresso maker, it would heat the water itself. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, if it's that easy, then why don't you make one? All I'm saying is that is the only thing keeping me from saying, hurry up and buy 6 of these. But yeah, again, a big thank you to Ben Bot for sending this in. Definitely something pretty cool. Something that honestly, when it showed up, I thought this was going to suck. At the very least, I figured it would work, but I wasn't going to get an enjoyable shot of espresso out of it. And I did. Pretty simple, fairly cool, and I'll tell you what, even if you have a proper espresso maker at home, and you really don't have a need to drag this around, especially being that you're going to have to find somewhere to heat up water anyway, it's at very least, if you know anybody that likes coffee or espresso, it's a very cool kind of novelty gift that not only looks cool and is kind of unique, but works, and will give whoever you give it to a fairly decent shot of espresso. If you enjoyed this review, hit the thumbs up, share it, leave some comments, especially if you've used this before. Tell everybody else about your experience with it. And if you're enjoying this channel and the content that I'm putting out here, I could certainly use your support over at Patreon. There is actually a new Patreon account now for Should I Drink This. It is the link at the top of the video description. You get 1 week early access to all of my brand new videos, plus some other pretty cool rewards related to just coffee specifically now, down in the video description. Check out the Patreon page. So yeah, this was cool. I will see you all at the next one.